Hey guys, I've been requested this video for quite some time now, and today I'm finally gonna share my Vinted tips and also my favorite brands and what I do to actually find good stuff on Vinted. Because let me tell you, it's kind of hard. Sometimes you find really good items on Vinted, but sometimes you can get scammed. So you kind of need to be a little bit careful on Vinted and also kind of realize that you are probably gonna get scammed at some point. I've got scammed on Vinted probably twice already, maybe 3 times, 4, I cannot even remember. But at the end of the day, you can actually return the pieces if you are on time, so it's actually not that big of a deal. You kind of waste a little bit of your time and it's definitely annoying, but it's not a big deal. Right now I'm actually wearing a piece from Vinted, but we are gonna talk about that in a moment. And I'm actually also gonna share how to be a little bit careful on Vinted and things to look into if you don't want to get scammed or if you want to try your best to not get scammed. But also the most important, I'm gonna share my tips and my favorite brands also. So without further ado, let's get started. My biggest tip is to use and abuse the search bar. I know this might sound quite obvious, but honestly I feel like not many people do this. What did I do to find this kind of jacket? I was looking for a red cardigan. I went to cardigans and then I filtered to color, of course, so I selected red and burgundy, and then I also selected the price point. I always do this. I usually search for items that go from 20 euros to like maximum like 100 maybe, because I'm looking for nice quality items. The thing is, if I'm buying something secondhand, I want it to be a high quality piece, because the only reason that I'm buying secondhand items is because I cannot spend that much money on brand new items. And also most of the times what I do is that I also select the quality of the item. So I select like brand new, new without tags, very good, and good. And I never select the last one, which is that the item is not that good. If you are actually selling something that it's not that good, I don't want it. Like, I actually don't want it, because that means that it's trash probably, because most people on Vinted lie. Let's keep that in mind. I sometimes also use the material filter. Like for instance, if I'm looking for a bag or maybe for a pair of shoes, I definitely select leather. When I was looking for a cardigan like this, I feel like I went and I selected maybe wool and cashmere or something like that. Like I was looking for a good quality item. Also, when I found my Max Mara coat, I did the same. I went to coats, I went through color, I went through price point, and I selected material. I only wanted a wool or cashmere coat, and that's when I found my Max Mara coat. The next tip is that you need to use keywords. I usually use keywords before I go through the hustle of really scrolling through Vinted with the search bar. So if I'm looking for a cardigan, for instance, now that I'm wearing this, it's kind of easier to give this as an example, but I type wool red cardigan. Or maybe if I'm looking for a coat, I will go wool coat and I filter through color and through price and everything. Like I kind of combined the two. But the thing with keywords is that everyone on Vinted is not speaking English. Some people are Italian, some people are French, some people are Spanish. So when you filter through keywords, you are kind of missing a lot. So I don't really like to use keywords a lot, but I do use them if I'm kind of more in a rush and I'm looking for something really specific. But if not, if I have a little bit more time, I definitely do this search bar. I abuse the search bar, because then you have all, like everything. Next tip, this is so freaking important. This next one is probably the best tip that I'm gonna give you, and it is to follow people. You need to follow people. This is so important. Once I see an item that I like, I always go to the profile of the person that is selling the item, and if I like the profile, kind of the design kind of suits me, or the items are somewhat kind of a style that I may like, I follow. I always freaking follow. And then what happens is that all these people start posting stuff, and I'm the first to see what they are posting, because on Vinted, sometimes things just fly off your hands. The thing about secondhand is that most of the time the item is kind of unique. So once it's gone forever. And it's also the fun thing about Vinted, in my opinion. So I like to follow people because of that, because then I'm kind of the first ones to see the item, and also because that gives me, like, I don't need to search through Vinted that much. Like, I do follow quite a lot of people that post really amazing stuff. I just go through what the people that I follow posted, and sometimes I just really find good items and I end up just buying from them. This is again such a nice tip, and I feel like so many people do this wrong. You need to be really careful of what you click and what you like, because the algorithm on Vinted is super fragile and so delicate. As soon as you like something from Zara, for instance, it's gonna start showing you so many items from Zara. As soon as you click on an item from Shein, it's gonna start showing you so many Shein pieces. So I have a rule that I never ever, no matter what item is there, I never open, I never click, and I never for the life of me like either something from Zara, from Shein, from any brand that I know I don't want to shop from. And I think that this is a mistake that so many people do. Because when I post like stuff from Vinted and just new items that I found, so many people say, oh my god, like my Vinted is just full of Zara pieces. It never shows me good stuff. Like I'm always getting shown pieces from Shein and Zara and Mango and all these things. And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry, but you are the problem. I'm so sorry, but is it you? So once I started implementing this and I started like being super strict of what I was clicking and what I was liking, like the algorithm is just working wonders. For instance, when I was looking for this jacket, I'm gonna talk about this again, Vinted was showing me so many. Like once you like a cardigan that is red, Vinted is gonna show you a couple more. And you need to click on them, because if you don't click on them and you don't kind of show interest, Vinted will stop showing you more items like this. So even if I don't like the cardigan that they are showing me and I know that I don't really like it, I click on it, I scroll and I show that I'm interested in that. And then Vinted starts showing me more and more and more and more. The algorithm actually works really nice, but it's so fragile. You need to be super careful. Next tip is to scroll and scroll. Just spend time on Vinted. I do spend quite a lot of time on Vinted. Not all the time, honestly, because I do have stuff to do. I have a life. But if I'm looking for something, I will spend time to find it, right? And it's honestly the only way to actually find good items. To scroll, you need to just spend time looking for the item. It's not gonna, like, maybe you are gonna get lucky, but most of the time you don't, and you need to spend the time just looking for the item that you want. Then also, please be nice to the sellers. You can ask for a discount, but I feel like it's so rude, and I never do this, to not talk and kind of just send like the new price that you would like to get and you don't say anything. What I like to do, instead of just offering a new price, I ask, hello, would you agree to sell me this for 12 euros? I also sell a lot of stuff on Vinted, and when people ask me things, I am more inclined to give them the price that they're asking instead of just sending me the price that they want. It's like, I'm not gonna give it to you, you know, if you are not even gonna make the effort to talking to me, to say hello. Before I talk about my favorite brands, I'm gonna just mention a couple of things that I do to try to not get scammed. So first of all, I never buy from sellers that don't have reviews. Never, ever. That is sketchy. Another tip is that if you are wanting to buy a more known brand, definitely look into how the logo should look like. Also, you need to see a photo of the tag. If there's not a photo of the tag, don't buy the item, or at least ask for the photo. Sometimes I say, hey, can you send me a picture of the tag? And if they don't send you the picture, stay away from it. It's gonna be a scam. So this happens a lot with vintage items. Vintage items, most of the time, are not vintage. And if there's not a photo of the tag and you can see that the tag is kind of looks vintage, don't buy the item, because trust me, one time I bought a dress that was vintage. And you know where it was from? It was from Shein. Bitch, are you serious? I of course returned the item, but it was like, do you really think that I'm that stupid? Like, come on. So now I never buy anything if I don't see the tag. I feel like on Vinted you can get carried away and you can just kind of buy things really fast because you don't want to miss them. But just stay focused and look into the tags and everything. Make sure that the seller has good reviews. Make sure that the pictures look well. I've seen so many Ralph Lauren hats that are fake. Just if something is too good to be true, it's because it's probably fake. Because there's a lot of fakes on Vinted. So you need to be really careful because, yeah, the possibilities to get scammed are kind of high. But most of the times you can find really nice items. Like for instance, I'm so obsessed with this jacket. Like it's so freaking adorable. And I just paid, I think, like 15 euros for this. And it's so freaking cute. And this is 100% wool, so nice. Okay, now let's talk about my favorite brands, shall we? So I'm gonna start talking about my shoe and heel brands. Last summer, I was really looking for a pair of pointed toe heels and I found so many great brands. The first is Gaston Lucioli. I actually found a pair of, I think that my first pair of pointed toe heels were from this brand. So gorgeous. There are so many. The price point is great, of course. Next brand is Sergio Rossi. It's kind of the same thing. I am not of those people that are kind of grossed out by secondhand shoes. Like you can clean them, but I always make sure that they are leather. Like I said at the beginning, if I'm shopping something that is secondhand, I want it to be good quality. So if it's not leather, I don't want it, and leather is easier to clean. That's why I also only buy leather shoes. Next is Pura Lopez. Again, you can find pointed toe heels that are so freaking cute. Price points are great. Kind of the same, Sara Navarro. Both Pura Lopez and Sara Navarro are Spanish brands. Then Pierre Cardin, a French brand. So many cute heels from this brand. Also Adela Gil is kind of the same thing, and Pons Quintana, and this is actually a Catalan brand, and these are kind of these shoe brands. Now moving on to the other brands that I really like, the brand that I probably shop the most, that I look into the most, is vintage. As I said, you need to be careful with vintage items because sometimes they are not vintage. You really need to look into and spend time looking at the items, but once you have kind of like me, like this algorithm that shows you a lot of vintage items, it's kind of easier, honestly. And once you know that you need to be careful with the tag and you really need to look into the item, if it's nice, if it's like in good condition or something, it's kind of easy. And this is honestly the brand that I shop the most. Even though it's not technically a brand, it's kind of listed as a brand inside of Vinted. Another brand that I really look forward to is Faithful the brand. This is something that I do a lot. If there's a brand that I really like, I try to find items on Vinted there are like more affordable secondhand of this brand that I really like. Another brand that I really love is Lawrence Brass. This is a brand that has the most gorgeous blouses ever, but it's quite an expensive brand. So even though the items are secondhand, they are still quite expensive. Another favorite of mine is Anne Fontaine. I got a dress from Anne Fontaine last summer and it was so beautiful. It's still probably one of my favorite dresses that I own, but the style of this brand is so unique. Like there's so many kind of rose blouses and rose dresses, so gorgeous. Also Les Jumelles, they have beautiful blouses and beautiful dresses. I actually do have a blouse that I bought last year from this brand and it is so pretty. It's kind of the cheaper sister to Lawrence Brass. And then I also look for the brand Ganni. There are so many Ganni pieces on Vinted and Ganni is just so pretty. Probably you have heard about this brand, but there are so many things on Vinted from Ganni. I don't know why. And then I actually wanted to show you the pieces that I've bought recently. So this is one of them. I cannot remember the name of this brand. Maybe I'm gonna put it on the screen because I cannot remember, but there's so many nice cardigans and jackets from this brand and all the pieces are 100% wool, such good quality. Also, I found this green jacket. This is also 100% wool. I do believe this was under the vintage category. Also, most of the pieces that I buy on Vinted, I either wash them myself a couple of times or I send them to the cleaners. I did send this to the cleaners because it was a little bit old. It looked old, so it needed to be like cleaned more professionally. I also got this beauty. I actually wanted this for winter and it's a bit late for that, but look how gorgeous this is. And this was again under the vintage category. I was looking for kind of a burgundy coat, and I don't know, I think that this is just so freaking cute. I haven't worn it yet. Hopefully I will still have time to wear it. I got a coat from Max Mara that I love, the best coat I've ever had. I've also got from Vinted these jeans that I'm wearing at the moment. These are vintage Levi's, and I'm trying to find more because I love them so much, and I'm trying to find like a white pair and a black pair. So yeah, I've found so many nice items, and I'm still gonna keep shopping on Vinted. But that was it for today. I hope that this was helpful. I know that there was a lot of information, so if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below. But I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye!